Hey, English learners, this is just one part of a complete accent reduction framework mini course. So if you'd like the whole mini course, watch until the end and I'll share with you how to get that. Next, so before we jump into getting started, I want to talk about some important things that I think it's important to know and to consider when you are trying to reduce your foreign accent and improve your pronunciation. So in this video, I'm going to respond to a question. And this question is, why do I have a foreign accent? So I'm going to share 2 reasons why you have a foreign accent. First reason is that there are things in your first language, in your native language, that does not exist in English. The first thing we think about is pronunciation and sounds. Of course, there are other things such as intonation and stress and whatnot, but I'm going to focus on pronunciation for this example. So in your native language, there may be sounds. There probably are sounds actually that don't exist in your language that exist in English. That being said, if you're going to use the sounds and the habits that you have in your native language that don't directly, translate or transfer to English, then you are not going to sound like a native English speaker. So as an example, let's say that you speak an Asian language and it is maybe, Chinese. And there is no distinction between the R sound and the L sound. This is going to make it very difficult because since the sound doesn't exist in your own language, 1, you might not even hear it or recognize it. And 2, because of that, you will mispronounce those sounds in English or mix them up. And even if you are able to recognize it, maybe you can't pronounce it yet. So there's this missing ability to be able to pronounce English sounds, the English sounds that will help you sound like a native English speaker. And sometimes maybe people can hear and identify the sound and they're able to pronounce it. However, maybe it has not yet become a habit in their day-to-day language. So if a sound doesn't exist in your language, there are a few different possibilities. 1, maybe you cannot hear it or recognize it. 2, maybe you don't know how to pronounce it. 3, maybe you have mastered the pronunciation, but it hasn't become a pattern in your speech and your day-to-day English yet. So that's something to consider. The sound just doesn't exist in your language or you just don't use it. 2, the second reason that I believe people have foreign accents is because they have limited input from native English speakers or the people who have taught them English or English pronunciation, the people that they've been exposed to have taught you or transferred to you an English with incorrect pronunciation, incorrect grammar, and whatnot to you. So for you, it sounds like normal English, even though there may be a thick accent, things might be mispronounced, things might be said incorrectly. So you start to take it in, you start to assimilate and learn the incorrect way of saying and pronouncing things. And unfortunately, when a lot of your input is incorrect, you will adopt it as your English. And all of that becomes a pattern and a habit in the English that you've developed and learned, which is something that takes more work to undo, which I will be addressing in the next video, where I'll be sharing with you why it's more difficult for some people to improve their accent and reduce their foreign accent. So congratulations, it looks like you made it to the end of this video. So if you would like to see the full Accent Reduction 101 Framework mini course, take a look in the description down below and click Accent Reduction mini course to join my newsletter.